race. He's running to be mayor of New York City. What are we doing? What are we doing?
We got a lot of people that are scared about Mamdani, rightfully so. All of us are scared about him being the next mayor of New York, and they want to do everything that they can to stop him from being in the race. Absolutely. He wants to eliminate your entire community. Doesn't even believe in a Jewish state, yet he still has a lot of support within the community.
There is a masculinity crisis in the United States of America. Some men are fearful of a mayoral candidate winning a mayoral race. Like, this is insane. Okay, look. What you just heard was more fear mongering about Zohran Mamdani on nonsense. That's not real.
Yeah.
There's no analysis on his policies, which I actually think would be beneficial to your audience, as opposed to fear mongering about Israel and how Mamdani is allegedly going to wipe out the Jewish population of NYC. Yeah. This is insane. This is totally crazy stuff.
So there's two parts of it. One is the ludicrous claim. What is he going to do? Is he going to go and murder Jews in New York? Is that what you're saying? Because that is like, you should be locked up in a mental asylum if you're saying that, and he's a cable news anchor. Okay, but the second part of it is, I think, even more interesting. He's saying most Jews are voting for Mamdani, and how dare you? Rupert Murdoch loves Israel. So you should bow your head to Rupert Murdoch, who's not even Jewish, and his love for Israel. So since you're betraying my boss's loyalty to a foreign nation, I'm condemning you as Jews, even though I'm black and not Jewish.
Guys, it's a mayoral race. He's running to be mayor of New York City. What are we doing? What are we doing? You want to say that Israel doesn't control our government and our media, as you are talking about the impact to Israel in the context of a literal mayoral race. It's insane. This is all insane, okay?
But also attacking Jews for being too anti-Semitic.
But no.
I mean, it's just, it makes like they're not even trying to make sense.
Are you even Jewish if you are supporting someone who's critical of the nation state of Israel? Are you even Jewish?
Isn't that a trope though?
It is. It is.
You're doing the trope.
So crazy. This is all insane. Look, this is what's so frustrating about it. I remember we were debating Zohran Mamdani on Her Take. This is months and months ago. And I defended Mamdani because the conversation immediately devolved into him allegedly being a jihadist, which he's not.
Come on.
And then later off camera, this is like a few months after that, I was having a conversation off camera with the women that I do the show with. And I was being critical of one of the policy proposals from Mamdani. And they were like shocked. They're like, wait, we thought you loved everything about him. I'm like, no, we haven't had an opportunity to actually talk about his proposals because everyone's too busy fear-mongering about him allegedly being a freaking jihadist. How is that helpful to the people of New York City who are gonna make up their minds about who to vote for?
Yeah, and so when you yell at Jewish voters that they're not Jewish enough because they won't support a foreign nation, and you yell at all the voters and tell them that the mayoral candidate, who seems perfectly lovely, is going to murder the citizens, you sound like a lunatic. Now there is a much better way to attack Mamdani, but I'm not going to tell you until after the election's over.
Yeah, okay. So look, we have more from Fox News, so stick around for that. But before we get to that, I think it's also worth talking a little bit about how the right-wing media is essentially encouraging Curtis Sliwa to drop out of the race. So Cuomo allegedly would get the edge in this mayoral race and potentially win. So the editorial board over at the New York Post, this is another Murdoch-owned entity, are basically writing an open letter to Curtis Sliwa, asking him to drop out of the race. They write that Sliwa is an oddball with a sometimes shady past and zero experience relevant to running the behemoth that is city government. If Republicans had come up with a more credible candidate with a second line less eccentric than protect animals, we'd likely now be demanding that Cuomo drop out. But the fact remains that Mamdani is poised to win and do major deadly damage to the lives of all New Yorkers. Like as deadly as sending COVID-ridden elderly people back to nursing homes in the middle of the pandemic, thus essentially killing a bunch of elderly people in nursing homes? Because that's what Cuomo did. That was pretty deadly. But anyway, but the fact remains that Mamdani is poised to win and do major deadly damage to the lives of all New Yorkers. He must be stopped. It stinks, but for the sake of the city you love so deeply, Curtis, please swallow this bitter pill. And in the last, Gotham polling poll, Gotham poll, I don't know why I said it that way. Mamdani sits at a comfortable double-digit lead over Cuomo. So Mamdani's at 43.2%, Andrew Cuomo is at 28.9%, and Sliwa is at 19.4%. The New York Post notes that Cuomo is within spitting distance of Mamdani if Sliwa drops out, and that if he stays in and loses by a Sliwa length, then he will be blamed. And I think that's true. I think he will be blamed, but he doesn't want to drop out. And I'm glad that he's not.
Can I ask you, who cares if he's blamed? Like, so they're like, oh yeah, well you won't have a career in Republican politics anymore. The guy's like 90 and this is his one shot to become mayor. And you're gonna, like, he's a populist. Now, I don't agree with him, he's a right-wing populist, but he doesn't need your accolades. He doesn't need your slap on the ass, right? That's for Cuomo. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll say that you're not in on it with the big corporations and the really smart, educated elites in New York. Sliwa was like, I never asked for that.
No,
I don't need your approval.
That's what I kind of like.
No, I'm telling you, and in fact, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We'll never find out if it's true because it's not gonna happen. But I think they would have had a better chance if Cuomo dropped out. If Sliwa stayed in the race and was like, look, I'm going populist, right? But I'm gonna try to lower housing prices and I'm gonna try to do all these things. So the other day I got a new mattress. My old mattress sucked. It had all these grooves, you'd fall into them, you couldn't get out. It was a disaster. So I got a Lisa mattress, love it. Finally some peace and rest. So I did their cute little mattress quiz. Even their quizzes are cute. Anyways, it turns out my favorite is a Legend Chill Hybrid. I'm not saying that that's an accurate description of my personality as well. I'm just saying. So I got it, I tried it. There we go. Love it. Now getting some peace and rest. You guys gotta check it out. Oh, plus they do really good things in the world. They actually have given away thousands of mattresses to people in need, and they help to clean our oceans. What else do you want? So this is the kind of win-win we love at TYT. Check them out. Go to Lisa.com for 20% off, plus get an extra $50 off with promo code TYT. That's exclusive to our viewers. That's LEESA.com, promo code TYT for 20% off, plus an extra $50 off. Support our show and let them know that we sent you after checkout. Lisa.com, promo code TYT. But I'm gonna do it better than Mamdani. Then they would have had a real fighter's chance of winning, especially with Sliwa's record on crime, okay? Whereas Cuomo, there's nothing to vote for. He's like, I will represent the super rich and the elites.
Yeah, no, you're totally right about that. And in fact, one of the areas where I was a little bit concerned about Mamdani was policing and public safety. He's moderated his views in a direction that I think is fantastic. But if Sliwa ran specifically on that issue and challenging Mamdani on that issue, I think he might actually have a better chance as opposed to Cuomo. Anyway, but what I love is that even Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican congresswoman, is slamming these calls for Sliwa to drop out of the race. How much does Murdoch hate MTG?
Oh, he hates all of these guys. There's no one in the country who despises populism more than Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, so it's a badge of honor if he hates you. So she writes in a lengthy X post, I'm amazed at how many Republicans have suddenly forgotten or completely don't care that Cuomo killed elderly people in nursing homes by putting COVID patients in the nursing homes and enforced some of the most insane COVID lockdowns in the country, but are now saying the New York Republican mayoral candidate should drop out so that the literal COVID communist Cuomo, I like the alliteration there, although he's not a communist, can win and become mayor of New York again. I can't even imagine if my mother or father was murdered in a New York nursing home because of Andrew Cuomo putting COVID patients in the nursing homes and then telling me that I have to vote for him. Are you kidding me? If Mamdani wins, then he will show all of America what his policies look like in action, and all the Democrats endorsed him. And people can move out of New York City. I honestly don't know how they live there in the first place. All right, some jabs at New York City. Now, I want to go back to Fox News because the panel is now about to argue that while a lot of Republicans just cringe at the thought of casting their ballots for Chris Cuomo, between him and Mamdani, it's really a battle of the lesser of two evils. Take a look.
You got a lot of people that are scared about Mamdani, rightfully so. All of us are scared about him being the next mayor of New York, and they want to do everything that they can to stop him from being in the race. I think the New York Post is channeling some of that. But they also have to realize that there are some Republicans that will never vote for Cuomo after what he did to this city, after what he did for this state. And so, yes, it may be a choice of a lesser of two evils. But there are some Republicans that just don't feel like the Republicans should be forced out of this race.
Well, one thing is, I don't think that Governor Cuomo is anti-Semitic. I don't think he's anti-Columbus.
Right.
I don't think that he is going to get rid of charter schools, although he could have done a lot more to help. He's not going to get rid of the gifted program. He's not going to give away buses and destroy the whole system. He is not going to tell cops that they're racist. I think also he's not going to send social workers into domestic disputes, and he's not going to be a communist who's very at home with extreme Muslims, and that's what this guy has got a series of pictures and statements out.
So look, there was a lot to unpack there. I'll just comment on the whole notion of sending social workers to domestic disputes because that was one of the most misleading statements from Kilmeade in that whole rant. That was what I was most concerned about with Mamdani. But what he wants to do, this is his proposal. He wants to keep the sworn officers at the level they're at in the NYPD, but he wants to add social workers to the department because social workers are specifically trained and they have expertise in responding to a person who's having, let's say, a mental episode or emergency.
Yeah.
And so it's actually more support for the NYPD. And I think that's a better model than replacing the police with social workers.
Yeah, so what I love is this new populist unity. I mean, you're not surprised to hear me say that, but so Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens also have said, look, we don't agree with Mamdani, but we'd rather have Mamdani than Cuomo. And why is that? Because we're all against corporate rule and foreign government rule. So we could disagree on, we said the same thing about Marjorie Taylor Greene on a different issue earlier in this show. We disagree with a lot of her policies, but we'd rather have someone honest and principled and not controlled by corporate rule and foreign government rules. So I love that new development. And look, we're all Americans, we're allowed to disagree. That's not the question. The question is, are we ruled or not, right? Do we have a democracy? So now on this front, New York Post and Fox News are owned by the same person, Rupert Murdoch. Murdoch is the biggest proponent of corporate rule in my lifetime. He loves when politicians are controlled by corporate donors like Rupert Murdoch, right? And they get all the things that they want, tax cuts, deregulation, etc., right? So now this shows you though, we've been right about that all along. Why? Because all along the media pretended, Fox News, but also MSNBC, CNN, etc. Oh, there's a big giant fight between Republicans and Democrats. Oh my God, they disagree so much. Like for example, the Republicans can't stand the leader of the Democratic Party in New York for over a decade now, Andrew Cuomo. Wait a minute, the Republicans are telling you to vote for Andrew Cuomo now. Why? Because they've always actually agreed. They're like, no, Mamdani is a change agent. We don't want change. Sliwa is a change agent. We don't want change. We want the status quo. We want corporate rule, rule by donor class. Why? Because if you're already at the top, you don't want anything to change. If things change, you might drop down a little bit. You might not be able to rob everyone else for your own benefit by bribing politicians like Andrew Cuomo. So whether they're Democratic establishment or Republican establishment, they know they can count on Andrew Cuomo for corruption. That's why both parties are not actually fighting. The culture wars are meant to distract you. They're actually in total agreement. Rob the American people on behalf of the donors, and the one guy they're positive is going to do that is Andrew Cuomo. That's why all of a sudden, all of the Murdoch media comes out and goes, no, back to corporate rule. vote for Andrew Cuomo. Everything we told you was a lie. It's okay. Now we're in favor of the guy we told you was the worst guy in the world, but secretly agreed with us. Last two things from me. I love the way you're pronouncing Sliwa.
I don't even know, like I don't, if I'm mispronouncing it, it's not intentional. I've tried a million times to
No,
make
it's
sure
a super hard name. And I should know a thing or two about hard names.
No, it's Sliwa.
Sliwa. But you just say it quick, but you go Sliwa half the time.
Do I really?
Yeah, you do that. So anyways, you rewind the
I got
tape,
a little
watch.
bit of flair, you know?
Yeah, you do, you have a lot of flair.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing is, so if Mamdani wins, and he gets into office, I'm curious how people are gonna react when he doesn't murder everyone. When he doesn't declare a Maoist revolution in New York City. Cause they said, that's it, he's gonna nationalize everything, he's gonna turn New York communist, he's gonna slit the throats of everyone who is Jewish or whoever else.
Ridiculous.
So when he doesn't do any of that, are they going to be like, well, I know them, we've been covering them for decades. Fox News will come up with a new lie. And the people, the 90-year-olds watching Fox News will believe that lie just the same, even though their previous lie was preposterously wrong and proven wrong. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.